Hey, 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 everybody. Welcome to the show. We are on Making Connections, still tweaking, making connections with Allie. You guys know we're here every Saturday at 12 noon and every Monday at 2 p.m. And I'm so excited. We are at the end of February. Can you believe it? And so, throughout this month, we've been celebrating love. We've been celebrating this Heart Health Month and also Black History Month. So, during our commercial break, we will have our Black History moment. And, but we can't let all this stuff just stop on February 28th. We got to continue the love. We got to continue taking care of our bodies, our hearts, our minds, and continue to have equality for all people. But I'm excited. I'm going to jump into this interview with Miss Tamar Sanders of Karina Bells. Did I say it right?
You did. You did.
Hey there, how are you today?
Great. Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah. Well, for people who you are new to, tell them just a little bit about yourself, and then we're gonna jump into this interview because I think what you do is so exciting, and I just I like when people are creative and they,
Yeah.
you create things and you make people's visions come to life. It's just exciting. So you go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, again, my name is Tamar and I reside in Kentucky. So I try to be involved or get involved with, pop-up shops. That's something that I'm trying to do this year is be more involved with pop-up shops. But I'm just a girl who has a creative idea. Kind of got sick and tired of the 9 to 5 and thought that maybe there was something out there for me to start my own business. So the Corinna Bell's name is actually a combination of my children's nicknames. Corinne is my youngest daughter, so we always call her Renna, and I just thought Corinna. And then my oldest daughter's name is Bailey, and we call her Bells. So Corinna Bells is where I got the name from.
That's cool. I like that. Incorporating the family. I like
Yeah,
it. Make them feel a part too.
yeah, yeah.
So do you still work your 9 to 5?
Right now, what I do besides work, my Corinna Bell's business primarily, and then I do a lot of freelance work. So I do social media management for some local businesses, and I'm kind of like a jack of all trades. So I was one of those people where I just kind of went once it. I was old enough. I started working a lot of office and administrative jobs. So over the last 10 years, I've worked in so many different industries that I've just picked up so many different skills that
Mhm.
I just do a lot of freelance work through, I can build basic websites. I'm not an expert. Customer service, data entry, social media. So I'm like, there's got to be a way I can market myself in that way where I don't have to actually like clock in and clock out because I was always that employee that just never fit my personality. So.
Mhm. That's cool though, but I like what you're saying. I mean, because sometimes people will judge you, be like, "Well, she's done this, now she's doing that,"
Yes.
And I felt that pressure before. But you're right; you can gain so much knowledge by the different things that you do,
Yeah.
and then that just makes you more marketable, and that makes
Yeah.
you more knowledgeable to, just go out there and conquer the world, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I've lived in, I'm originally from Kentucky and I lived in Georgia for 10 years. I did study abroad in England. And then while I was back in Georgia, I decided to move to Chicago. I had never gone to Chicago before. And I just bought one, you know, prior to kids, bought a one-way ticket to see what would happen. And I stayed there for 2 years. And then that was around 2010 when the economy was tanking. So I ended up coming back to Kentucky and just had various jobs that way. But you're right, when people hear like you've had a job here, you've had a job there. I was always one of those people, and I don't know. I hear people say it's like a millennial thing where
Hmm.
they're not into being somewhere long term if it's just not working out. And I definitely fit the bill for that. At first I used to work 4 years at a company here, and everything, but if it's not working out, on to the next. This is, you only get one life. So
Say
yeah.
that. And you know that I think I tell young people actually, if now you have to make sure that you got enough money to cover your
Yeah.
rent and stuff. You can't just be jumping and
Yeah.
not going
Yeah.
to another job. But I mean, in my generation, we were taught to get a job, stay on that job, try to retire from that
Yeah.
job. But things just don't work the same like that anymore.
Yeah.
Companies don't believe in seniority. They're
Yeah.
not promoting you because of your
Yeah.
faithfulness. So if
Yeah.
you have to venture out and do different things, go to
Yeah.
different places, I encourage the young people to
Yeah.
do it.
And at the very least, the other way that I look at it too is that because I had so many jobs in so many different industries, when I look back, I had a lot of, your upper management, supervisors, managers, directors. I personally, out of that 10-year experience, I never met one where once I got to understand the infrastructure of how that company worked, I never met one where I was like, they know what they doing. They got it. Like, no. So I'm like, if these people can, um, move their way up to the top, without even having all the capabilities to actually do that job that they're required to do, I can
Hmm.
at least try to attempt to do something that I actually like to do. So that's kind of how I looked at that too.
And it really is important. I mean, sometimes the things that you really love to do, or sometimes the things that give you life, are not always the initially
Yeah,
the $500,000 job.
right.
You know what I'm saying? But once you gain that knowledge and you learn really how
Yeah,
to market it and be
yeah,
able to flow in it, it can work for you. It
yeah,
can turn in your favor. But sometimes, I think a lot of times people chase the money
yeah,
above their purpose or the thing that gives them life. And then
yeah,
they're miserable.
yeah. Like you said, on paper you have the job, but the stress,
Mm.
being undervalued, and then lack of stability or security, like your life, your financial livelihood is all dependent on someone else,
Mm-hmm.
because managers can take it personal,
Yeah.
and or a corporation can mismanage their money and it doesn't have anything to do with you, and they have to lay people off, so you're doing everything you were supposed to do. So it's like, you
Yeah.
know you don't know, even if you were doing everything you were supposed to do, there's still that possibility that you can get let go.
True. And even like with COVID, I think it has awakened, or what's
Yeah,
the other word, to people, because
yeah,
you think, well, being an entrepreneur, you never really have stability, so they think.
yeah,
You don't know what your next project is going to be, but look at the people who got laid off, who've
yeah,
been on a
yeah,
job for years, who have been dedicated, and here we are.
yeah, yeah,
So is that 40-year plan,
right.
retired at 40%, really the way to go?
Yeah, and at my last corporate position that I had, I still, that was about 2 years ago, and I still, stayed in touch with some of my old coworkers, and one of
Mhm.
them had been there for 10 years, and while I was there, kept attempting to be promote, try to move on to different departments,
Mhm.
and it was just always the assumption because he was black that he would, because the people that were coming in entry level didn't have the skill set at all,
Right.
but right off the bat they're getting promoted. And then the sad and unfortunate thing is that he actually passed away from COVID, a few
Mm.
months ago, and so he, on the other hand, he was well liked in that company, but they never would promote him, even though he had the skill set to be promoted. And then what I hear now is that they haven't even acknowledged that he passed away, even though he was a well liked individual
What?
in the office. So, you just have to, if you're kind of considering moving on or trying to get promoted, and you think that, well, I'll just wait and take my time, that's what he was attempting to do the last time that I had spoken to him, and then that happens, and they didn't even acknowledge that he had even passed away, even though he was very
Good.
well known because of being there so long. So these corporations don't care about you at all, and you have to really take the time to figure out if you still want to work for companies like that, or at the very least attempt to start on an idea that you had.
Yep.
Like you said, you're not going to get $500,000 like that day, but the first step is attempting to start. That's the hardest part.
Right. So what would you tell somebody, if they were like, I really have this vision, I have this idea, but one, I'm not the only one doing it. There's so many people out there, say writing a book.
Yeah.
There's so many books out there, but I really have this book on the inside. I mean, really have this story I want to tell.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when I'm trying to do that, it's taken away from my job. I mean, but I got this story to tell. What would you tell that person?
I mean, but I don't know if I'm the best or the worst person to say this to, but I was one of those people that probably 15 years ago had an idea. I would start it, and then I would talk myself out of it. I had an idea, and I'm talking about over 15, like just repeat. I've had things like, if you were to probably Google Corinna Bells, you'll see stuff that started back in 2017. And then I doubted myself and I stopped.
Right.
And so it wasn't until the beginning of last year that I was like, you know what, I just have to try, because you're already your biggest critic. You're worried about what everybody has to say, but you've already thought of the worst. So anything that somebody's going to say to you, you've already thought of it. So that's kind of a good thing, because then you're immune to it. If somebody wants to critique or have a comment about something that you have an idea about, you've already thought of that. So keep it moving. And then with the idea that, somebody else has already started it. I mean, just look at the different cereals, the different peanut butters, different, there's Target, and there's Walmart, and there's Myers, and there's all these different, but they all technically sell the same thing. And what I'm trying to implement this year for Corinna Bells is I'm trying to streamline my company so that it's more cohesive. It has a cleaner look, because overall, besides the product, you're selling the aesthetic. So right. Like you could go into Target. Typically Target is more expensive than Walmart, but people like the aesthetic, so they go into Target. So once you can figure out how to do that, I think that will help you be more comfortable as well. But at the same time too, if you have an idea today and you don't have all the pieces, just start with what you have. It's gonna look a mess. And I'm sure that with a lot of companies, especially individuals, small businesses, if you go onto their Instagram, if you go onto their Facebook, scroll all the way to the first couple of months or the first year, right. And you're gonna see some terrible graphics. You're gonna see some terrible writing, some terrible pictures, and everything, and you see the growth. So just go ahead and assume what you're going to put out is not going to be 100% A grade at all.
Right.
But what you'll learn is you'll start to get an eye for how to improve it. So that just do it. It's going to be terrible. You're going to waste a lot of money because you don't know what you're doing. That's okay.
Right.
That's okay. Just go ahead and do it, because the benefits to that is because now you know what not to do. You could do YouTube videos, you could do instructional videos, because you've done all the mistakes. So now you can profit off of your mistakes by teaching people also what not to do, because you didn't know. But so that's my advice to that.
Well, honey, you gave some good advice there.
Okay.
You are the person for this job. Because it is so true. And Jonathan says hello, and he said, yeah, you have to start somewhere. And that's the thing about it. we look at the people who now have the 3 million followers. We look at, like you said, the graphics and stuff now, but they have a team behind them now,
Yeah.
at 3 million followers, but
Yeah.
they didn't always do have that. And, even their Facebook lives, they were kind of sketchy,
Yeah.
internet in and out. I
Yeah.
mean,
Hands shaking, people in the background, all that.
but you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
So I like that. So
Yeah.
this Karina Bells. So what is this company about exactly?
The specific reason that I even started or had the idea for it is because I have two girls. They're 14 months apart. And you just want to go into a store, you want to grab something that shows representation for them.
Mm,
And I mean, just to go in a store and it's not Black History Month or it's not around Juneteenth, which a lot of companies don't celebrate Juneteenth, but to go into a Walmart or a Target and not be able to find, a nice shirt or bag or headscarf or something like that, where you have to search, and even if you find one, you only find this one item, but then you got to go over here. So my ultimate goal for Corinna Bells is to be a one-stop shop with primarily other Black owned products. So when you go to CorinnaBells.com, you'll see, I do mugs, I do keychains, anything that I can get my hands on. But I also would love the opportunity to be able to find other African American distributors where I could get their merchandise. So
oh yeah.
right now, 100% of what is in my store I make, but I would love to be able to elevate that to where I would be able to get other companies in. So that's primarily, um, you know, the initial reason on why I started Corinna Bells, because I just got tired of having to go to like 8 different places to put together whatever it was I was trying to put together.
Right. To put it together,
Yeah.
because still not as much representation as there should be, or
Yeah.
not as many options as there should be. So definitely. So what's like your favorite thing to do? Do you have like a favorite item
Um,
to
I think that I like them all. I like to, I have a favorite in the moment. So initially the way people were finding out about Corinna Bells was t-shirts. I make custom t-shirts, and then I have designs that I find that I like. I get the commercial license for them, and then make those shirts, or I can put the designs on pretty much everything, because my family makes fun of me because where in my house I have, like, they call it little Amazon, because it looks like a warehouse, because I got it all. Because I make the shirts and the mugs and things like that. But the shirts is where I started, and then I moved on to mugs, and then tumblers, and then keychains, and then various other things. And then I just recently taught myself how to make stickers. So I
cool.
make I can make custom stickers, and then I use some of the designs I already have, and I'm starting to add those stickers, and then I'm starting to add masks on. So
Oh
um,
yeah.
I'm one of those people that I like something for a minute, but then I got to move on. So I can still do the shirts, but now I'm like excited about the stickers kind of thing. So
Mm,
I'm trying to expand as much as I can with what I have.
right. Because I mean now people love stickers. I don't care.
Yeah.
You hear the word stickers and you think of for kids.
Yeah,
No.
no,
Everybody loves a
yeah,
sticker.
they have the vinyl stickers, and they're pretty big, and they're water resistant. So people like to decorate their tumblers, people like to
Yeah.
decorate their cups, people like to decorate their laptops. You will see the Black Lives Matter on the laptops and stuff like that. So that's primarily what people use them for. They can have positive messages on there, and you can easily take them off, or you can keep them on.
Cool. I like that. So you probably do a lot of custom things now for people, huh?
I'm trying to get away from custom. So before, I was doing a lot of custom, and now I'm just finding or creating designs that I really like, and I'm selling those. Uh, the Selling those items without the custom. I still do custom, um, but custom takes a long time, and the back and forth. So I still do like birthday shirts, family reunion shirts. um, People ask me to do funeral shirts. Funeral shirts make me sad. I do them, but they make me sad. So
Yeah.
that's kind of why I stay away from the custom, because it's usually those three things: birthdays I don't mind, family reunions I don't mind, but and then the funerals. But if somebody asks me, it's usually somebody that I know, so of course I'm gonna do it because I understand. But those make me sad. So
Yeah, that would make me sad too.
yeah,
But yeah. But that is one of the things we do to honor those who have
yeah,
lived, and we, just walk their memory. And we don't want
yeah,
people to forget
yeah,
about them. So
yeah,
it's a sad thing, but it is a sign of love. And
yeah.
so, yeah, and Jonathan saying even bumper stickers and things like that,
Oh
people.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and I love the little keychains. And I noticed that, when we were going through the election and things like that, you had the different things like from
oh yeah.
Georgia and the representatives and
Yeah, it's like, you want to stay out of politics, but it's kind of hard because so many people who are against like Black Lives Matter consider it a political argument. No, it's a civil rights thing.
right,
So some of the politicians, intertwine that, support Black Lives Matter, and a lot of people in the African American community support those same politicians because of that. So I
right,
wanted to, make some blue, Georgia blue, girl squad type of stuff, because it represented what a lot of people in the African American community also believed in. So not that I am saying that I don't hold people accountable, or but right now we have our moment. We've had a lot to deal with for the last 4 years, so we can celebrate.
Lord, honey,
Yeah,
that's a whole nother show
yeah,
altogether.
yeah,
But yes, Lord, we have been through a lot, and um, Black lives do matter. I don't
yeah,
understand the issue,
yeah,
but we do matter. I mean, now
yeah,
you want our money, you want us to work in your jobs, but I mean, then
yeah,
why not
yeah,
treat us fairly?
yeah.
Why not promote us fairly?
That whole all lives matter. I'm like, no one said that it didn't. And if you said Irish lives matter, we agree with you. Irish lives do, Scottish lives, British lives. When
Exactly.
you say white lives matter, like, you know where you come from. You have the privilege of knowing, that you're from Britain or that you're from Sweden. So if you said, Sweden lives matter, and there was something going on in Sweden, people would wholeheartedly support you.
Right.
Specifically, the reason why we say black is because most of us don't have the privilege of being able to say Kenyan lives matter, Ghani, because we don't know.
Right.
And
Right.
on the same level as that, even if we did, the people that are attacking African Americans, they don't know. They just assume, just be solely based off the color of your skin, that you just black. So overall, that I'm in a couple of Facebook groups where it's gotten heated, where
Mm.
I just sit back and watch, because I'm like, I live in Mitch McConnell land, so you can't hurt me. I got thick skin.
And I somebody gave me like an example. We were talking about that, and it's for, let's say, for example, when Puerto Rico had the big storms and they were a disaster, whatever. They're still a part of this world. Everybody in the world matters, but at that moment, Puerto
We
Rico
can,
needed our
yeah,
prayers. Puerto Rico needed our support. Puerto Rico needed our resources. So we're not saying that no other state or country or
yeah,
continent or anything doesn't matter, but
yeah,
right now, this is the place where we all have to join together and focus
yeah,
and send our resources.
yeah. I think about that, and I think about like indigenous Americans, all the stuff that they have to go through, and then people have the nerve to argue with them for what, why, how, you know. So overall, I just know that at this point in the stage of the game, people going to always find something to argue about, and
True.
um, just take it with a grain of salt. And you can support financially, or you could support by signing petitions and things like that. But those people that want to argue about Black Lives Matter being political, um, you on a whole nother level. There's nothing that I can say to convince you otherwise, and I don't have the energy to do that.
That's it. And no need to fight.
Yeah.
Just let it go. I mean, their opinion is their opinion. We all That's our right
Yeah.
to have a different opinion. But our right also is to respect one another and to not harm one another. So
Yeah.
yes, amen.
Yeah.
So, I definitely, like I said, we've been celebrating Love Month, we've been celebrating heart health, and definitely Black history, because in Black history, I like to remind people we're still making Black history. Like,
Yeah.
so I give a shout out to you, my sister, who is doing great things. You have branched out, you're being an entrepreneur, you're affecting other people's lives, you're getting, even like I said, I love the creativity of people, of what people like you do, because you put people's thoughts, people's
Yeah.
feelings on these mugs, on these shirts, on these stickers, so that sometimes they don't know how to say what they need to say,
Yeah.
but they put this shirt on and now they're like,
Yeah.
just read it, and
Yeah.
so how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel good because also that, like, for example, I make one of the types of custom mugs that I make. Initially last year I started because I took my grandmother's black and white photo of her when she was born in the 1930s. She passed away in 92. So I found a picture of her from when she was like 6 or 7, and it's black and white. And I put her sunrise day and her sunset day on there. And so then I sent those out to all my aunts and then anybody else who wanted them. And so I like that what I make is like multi-purpose. You have this mug, that you could put away in your cabinet, and then just when you're getting some tea or getting something warm or whatever, you have this mug, and then you see your mother or your grandmother's photo on the mug. Like, I try to make it a 2-in-1, something that makes people
Mm,
happy, whether it's a TV show or a relative. I try to be mindful of that when I'm making stuff, so that maybe you're trying to declutter, and so you got 20 months, but you're going to keep, that one thing you're going to keep is that mug, kind of thing. So that's kind of how I look at it.
cool. I love it. I love it. I know. I've had. I was supposed to get with you, get some making connections things, because sometimes even seeing something with your company logo or your company name, when you have those days that you're struggling and you're
Yeah.
wondering, you see that and you're like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
there's purpose provided. There's a reason I started this. There's a
Yeah.
reason I went this path. So, yeah, I got to keep going. So I think that's important.
Yeah. And not to down like anybody else, but there's some pretty terrible companies out there. So it's like, so if they could do it, and they have the confidence, because sometimes the loudest person in the room is usually the one that's got the worst stuff going on. But because the confidence level is there,
Right.
they're able to prosper and grow, even though that they. And so I'm like, okay, this person has a terrible product and they're doing this good. Okay, what would happen if I had actually a great product
Yeah.
out there? So
Now you brought up a very good point there, because you're right. I mean, we can even take that back to the job.
yeah.
There's always the loudest employee that's never doing anything, that's not getting the projects done. They're not the ones, but they sometimes get promoted because they're visible and they
Yeah.
seem like they care and everything. So you're right.
Or
It's
just
that confidence.
not even that they care, it's the confidence. I
Yeah.
mean, it's
Mhm.
the confidence. I mean, just look at the last 4 years. Somebody didn't know what they were doing at all, but they had the confidence, and then that lets you know that's all you need sometimes,
Mhm.
especially if you actually have the goods to back it up.
Right.
And a lot of people don't have confidence. So just imagine what you could do. You've got this great product or this great idea, or you want to write this book, and we're just waiting on the confidence part for you to actually execute
Yeah.
it.
It's that confidence and that fear of what other people are gonna say or think.
Yeah.
And sometimes I don't even think it's the fear of failure, but the fear sometimes of success. Where
Yeah.
does that fear come from? What
Yeah.
what gives us that fear, you think?
Okay, so I'm somebody who said I'm not getting on that thing called TikTok. I'm not getting on TikTok or whatever. And then one day I was like, okay, I'm gonna try it out. So I post a little bit on there. I'm still learning. So my TikToks are not great. But I follow a lot of other small businesses and marketing coaches. And one of the things that I see a lot that they talk about is the imposter syndrome, where whether you're dealing with, some trauma in your life and you're getting promoted and you feel like you're not worth it, or you had this idea and your business becomes successful and you're talking yourself out of it and other people, like, you might see that things are going great and now it's an easy ride, and now they're trying to step back because they're talking, even after they've gotten the success, they're talking themselves out of it. And so yeah, imposter syndrome, if anybody ever is feeling like they shouldn't be, even though they're starting to make it or they're in the pre-production stages, Google imposter syndrome and see if you fall into those categories, because maybe you could talk to somebody on identifying those characteristics and how to get out of that.
Yeah, that and that I think that goes along with self sabotage, just
Yeah.
because you sometimes you feel like, well, my family only has always only made this amount of money,
Yeah.
only ever gone this far.
Hmm.
Who am I to think that I can be the millionaire of the family?
Yeah.
But and so that is scary. But that key thing, either Google, get some help some kind of way, whether it's Google, whether it's talking to somebody. We always encourage people to um, reach out to somebody who's doing what you want to do.
Yeah.
See their story, see the struggles they went through, to make sure you link up with somebody who has your best interest at heart, because you're going to have those moments and you need that person in your life
Yeah.
and in your corner who can say, girl, honey, and
Yeah. Yeah. So
brother, I've been
yeah.
through it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So that's the hard. That's something that honestly, I struggle with as well, because uh, I'm the only one that I know that's really doing stuff specifically like this in my circle that wants to take it to the next level. I know people who do it as a hobby and they're comfortable doing it as a hobby because they enjoy their regular job, and that's awesome for them. So, me trying to pursue this and continue on, and then also having to deal with virtual schooling
Mm.
with the kids and stuff, and then trying to find freelance or doing my freelance gigs, and everybody right now is overwhelmed. Uh I mean, and I'm an introvert, so the whole social distancing thing has been completely fine for me, but I know a lot of people that that is not the case. But
Right,
I
right.
have not been affected by social distancing, besides making that my excuse on why I can't hang out with you. So yeah, I know it's been tough for everybody, but in that sense. But I think of, not to say that this current situation isn't bad, but I think of
Absolutely.
things like the Holocaust, and I think of things like the Spanish flu,
Mm.
when that happened, and just imagine how those people felt in that moment. You could not imagine ever getting out of that, and
Right.
then it happened, and it wasn't an overnight thing, but it happened. So that's kind of how I like morbidly a little bit look at what's going on now, is that eventually it'll
We'll
the
come out.
yeah, it will come out. So that's because people have dealt with a whole lot worse, and
Yep.
with the technology and everything that we have today, to have been had the foresight to be able to try to warn people. So anybody out there stressed about it, just breathe, keep focusing on your business,
Yep.
and see where that'll take you. Because what's her Hattie? I can't even think of the first Black female millionaire, the hairdresser.
Oh yeah. Was that CJ Walker? Madam
Yeah,
CJ
CJ
Walker?
Walker. She became a millionaire during the Depression.
Mm.
So, just look at it that way. You're focused on, well, what's going on on a global scale. Worry about what you're doing right now. Just focus, hone in, because especially back then, um, for her to become a millionaire during the Depression. It's like
Thank
that.
you.
And I'm sure if she looked at in a bigger scale, she probably could have gotten overwhelmed with trying to figure out how to do that. Instead, she just focused on the next step in front of her and then focused on the next step after that. And so you just have to focus one step at a time. Quit jumping 10 steps ahead about packaging and marketing and all that other stuff. Just do what you can do with what you have right now.
Right. And there are some free products and some people who can help you with all of that stuff, because that will overwhelm you trying to market it, trying to figure out the best type of packaging, putting your website together. But I do say, like we said with everything else, start somewhere. Just start small.
Just start.
Don't overwhelm yourself. Don't try to make your website look like everybody. Just be able to have a link where people can order and pay. So definitely. Well, Tamar, hold on just a second for me. We're gonna take our Black History moment. Guys, we are at the end of the month. I cannot believe it. So we're gonna have our Black History moment, and stay with us. We're gonna come back with Tamar, and she's gonna show us a couple of products she's been working on. We'll be right back.
Greensboro 4 were yours truly, Joe McNeil, David Richmond, Junior Blair, and Frank McCain. We all lived in the same dormitory. I think we were all very young. I was the youngest. I was 17. I reacted to the Jim Crow South with anger. I did not believe for 1 minute that I was a second-class citizen, that I was inferior in any way to whites, greens, whatever. I couldn't live the lie. We decided to take a stand. Let's go. Let's do it. So we purchased small items, sundry items, to establish the fact that we were customers. And then we sat down on a stool and asked for a cup of coffee. And the store manager told us that he wasn't going to serve us. The local establishment grossly underestimated our anger and the ability to hang in there. So when we were leaving the store, the Associated Press was there. And they said, "Hey, boys, what you gonna do?" We said, "Well, we're gonna come back, and we're gonna keep coming back until you decide to serve us." We started growing. First day 4, the second day, probably 16 or 20. It was organic. It's a mind of its own, it kept growing. We decided that whatever actions we were going to take, they were going to be nonviolent. We remained nonviolent. But on the third day, it started to get rough. At any time, we could have been carried out of that store in a pine box. We didn't want to be martyrs, but we had to do what we needed to do.
I was a student at Fisk University in Nashville. February 1st, 1960, we heard that 4 young black men sat in at a lunch counter in Greensboro. We had our first sit-in in Nashville on February 13th. I'm really amused sometimes because people say, "Oh, you were so brave." And the truth is, I was afraid the whole time. But the choice was to do what was necessary to end segregation or to tolerate segregation. And that just was not acceptable.
Greensboro became the message. It was like, if they can do it in Greensboro, we too can do it. And there were young people and people not so young, adults, in major cities outside of the South, participating, sitting in at lunch counters. They were picketing the stores to support the students in the South. And you had people like Martin Luther King Jr. saying things like, by sitting down, we were standing up for the very best in American tradition.
And I think that's really important for people to know that it was ordinary people, quote unquote ordinary, like themselves, who did everything for the civil rights movement, that it was really a people's movement.
These young people injected something very meaningful, something really beautiful. And so you may not have a lot of money, you may not have a lot of power, but you have what Dr. King and Gandhi and others call soul power. Just using your body as a nonviolent instrument, as a tool, you can change things. You can inspire hundreds and thousands and millions of people to speak up, to speak out.
I walked away with an attitude that if our country is screwed up, don't give up. Unscrew it. Don't give up. Which in retrospect is pretty good for a bunch of teenagers.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Making Connections. This is your girl, Allie, and we have been talking to Tamar Sanders, the owner of Karina Bells. And, that Black History Moment, I played those because I want people to remember, especially our brown skinned brothers and sisters. We didn't always have opportunities. We couldn't always be an entrepreneur. We couldn't always have our own radio show or a TV show and, do interviews, but we have those opportunities. Don't forget, where we came from. And we got to keep pushing forward so that we don't go back. So definitely encourage everybody just to dig deep, whatever that vision is, whatever that goal is, for your family, for your financial freedom. Hey, we got to take that opportunity. We got to do the work that it takes to make it happen. And so we've been speaking with Tamar. And so in that, I want you to show everybody the shirt that you've been working on. Tell us a little bit about it.
And then I actually found my other one. The first one is, I just have the two, this is a kid's version of the Martin Luther King shirt, but all my sizes come in newborn onesies. I even have newborn t-shirts and things like that, all the way up into adult 3X.
Okay.
So I try to incorporate everybody. There is no judgment here at all. If I have a size that if you needed something like a 4X or a 5X, you just send me an email and then we work on getting those. So that usually happens sometimes with family reunion or birthday shirts. When they give me the sizes, then I'm like, yeah, I can get that size. I've searched out tons of vendors so I can get all those sizes. And then this one is the Sisters Don't Let Sisters Fight Cancer Alone, breast cancer awareness. So this is one of the shirts or one of the designs I started out for breast cancer awareness. And I keep most of the holidays or significant events on my website. So even though this was a shirt for October, people still order it, you know, because they know somebody who's going through it, you know, and maybe wants or wants to give them some support. So like you said, you look at an item like a t-shirt or a mug, or because this design and both designs, I put them on everything. I put them on the stickers, on the keychains, on the tumblers, on the mugs, everything, because I make everything. I have the capability to do that. And Christmas stuff, if you are looking for a Black Santa, you could go, you know, if there's something you got going on right now and you needed a Black Santa, you can go and you can order some stuff on there. So I try to have a method to the madness of the things that I have on there, on my website, because overall I want it to be a one-stop shop.
And that's awesome, because exactly, like, but with breast cancer, it happens throughout the year.
Yeah,
Every
yeah,
day.
it's not just the October thing, but I get why they, you know, they need to
Oh yeah.
promote it. But and so I was trying to be mindful of some of the things I do have say October on them, and some of the things don't. So, you know, like somebody and when my shop is through CorinnaBells.com, but the actual shop button, if you click on shop, it takes you to my Etsy store. So on there, it lets you, you know, pick and choose. And if you want it to be a gift, like how you do on Amazon, it lets me know that, so that people get a special message in there when they get the shipment. So it's always nice to see the notes that people want in the gift message.
Oh, see, Amazon don't have nothing on Corina Bells.
Yeah, you know they and the other thing is that sometimes people on what has been a really big issue that came to light with I won't name the shop, but it was like pretty big in a lot of the crafting Facebook groups, is that there was a prominent Black owned business on Etsy selling Black Lives Matter, thing like that. And they had been in business for about 3 years before people figured out they weren't a Black owned business at all. And, you know, it's like Target, you know, isn't a Black owned business. Walmart isn't. And they sell Black Lives, you know, Black History Month stuff. They sell St. Patty's Day stuff. So I get that. It's why did you have to put up a fake profile as an African American woman? Why did you make fake comments? You know, we're in this together, sister. And so it ended up, somebody ended up getting, and I'm only saying this to warn people, is that one of the things on Etsy or anything that you go on where there might be copyright infringement, especially when you've paid for the commercial rights. Some businesses, and this is how this woman got herself caught. She was pretending that she made an original design when she had just bought the commercial rights, just like everybody else. So she was pretending to be a Black business owner. So she was targeting other Black businesses on Etsy, telling Etsy they took my design. So Etsy would take down their product because this person had said, you know, you're doing copyright infringement and you have so many days to prove your case or the item. So they're losing business.
Right.
And through that, people through the different Facebook groups were able to figure out that it was a woman pretending to be Black and also pretending to be the original owner of the design of that, you know, specific design. And she had been targeting other Black businesses, trying to get them shut down because they were selling the same product that she was.
Wow.
So it was like over a course of 2 years of her doing this before somebody decided to post the issue they were having with this particular company. And then so many people started to comment like, hold on, you know, that's not their design. And then through that, it was a big mess. And
Wow.
Yeah, so be mindful of that as well, because copyright infringement or commercial use, when it comes to someone trying to claim that they are the original creators, do a little bit of research to figure out if they are just making a bogus claim because you're their competition.
Mm-hmm.
So
Now that's some good information right there. So what is
yes.
that commercial license? What is it? What is that?
So, for example, there are a lot of designs right now. Let's say, like for a lot of other designers, that's how they make money. So they might make an image where they do digital downloads. So they'll make an image of something and they'll say, "You pay me such and such amount," and it already includes the commercial license, or you pay for the image because you might want it for personal use, that you're giving it as a gift. But if you want to use it for your business, then there's an additional fee. And then after that, you're covered.
Gotcha.
And this basic design that this woman, this whoever it was, whoever the originator was, it was a basic design in her shop. So this other individual had bought it and then would harass other businesses trying to claim it was her original design, just to intimidate. Because if you don't know, then you're like, oh my gosh. And yeah, so that's what it was. It wasn't her original design because yeah, so some like there's some things out there as well that I will say, like where they're more lenient, but you have to I will say this, you have to figure out which ones are more lenient about using their images and which ones aren't. For example, Disney.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so no, don't use
Right.
Disney. But then
Don't play with Disney.
but people can sell Starbucks cups, embellished Starbucks cups. Starbucks is okay with that. You can't. So once you figure out, there's a lot of like technicality, you'll learn. If you're trying to do designs and things like that, it's all a learning process for people. But yeah, so it's a spaghetti web out there. But whatever it is, just worry about the product that you're trying to sell. If you're trying to sell Starbucks cups, you'll figure out it's totally fine. You can embellish them. You can do whatever you want with them. Just don't actually manipulate the actual logo, and you're good to go. So you learn that through the different communities and the different people that you work with.
Okay. So that's some good stuff. See there, she's gave us some knowledge about this today. So
Yeah, so like
don't
you
get
know, like people
frustrated.
sell friends stuff. So that's like I don't sell friends things. I'm a living single kind of person. So there's some yes or no's to that. I just worry about what I have.
Mm. But again, what she's saying is don't get frustrated, don't give up. Just take the time that you need,
Mm-hmm.
do your research, connect with some people, but make sure you research them and who you're connecting with.
Yeah.
Get in some groups, because I think that's a lot of times when we start something, we have that vision and we can see the end result, but we just don't know how to get there. So, I'm just encouraging everybody, don't give up. Join.
And you're gonna mess up. You're going, like, that's inevitable. Let it go. You're gonna mess up. You're gonna spend too much money. You're gonna buy a lot of the wrong stuff that you need. It's just gonna happen. You're gonna do all the research and you're still gonna mess up, and it's okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And just like the headpiece, I would say
Yeah, the head. I forgot. Yeah, the headpiece. So I'm trying to get into headpieces now because I like to wear them a lot. So this specific fabric, I found a designer who makes this specific design. So I'm making headpieces. I don't have them on my website yet. This is my prototype. I wanted to see how it looked, and I'm really digging it. So
nice.
I'm thinking I'm going to add it to the store. I have other fabrics and other designs, but that self-doubt, I want to make sure, before I go in, I've already bought the fabric and everything. I just got to churn it out now. I'm not a seamstress, so that's the other thing, finding somebody you trust, because
Right.
the way I cut up this fabric to put it on my head, a seamstress would have been mortified. So, but yeah.
Oh gosh. And so, like she says, you're gonna spend some money. You're gonna, try out different materials. And you be like, this stuff don't stay wrapped right.
Yeah.
This stuff, starts to rot. Real, what's the word?
Yeah. Untangle.
Yeah, come
And
apart.
also
So,
with the products that you get, you're going to be in groups and everybody's going to say, buy this, this product and then use this. And this is my technique. And you do it and you just wasted it because that technique, depending on the type of equipment you have, it doesn't work. So through trial and error, I'm like, if I had a motto or whatever, it's that one that people always make fun of when like you're the new employee where you sit with somebody and they're like, well, you're supposed to do it like this, but this is how I do it. So that's kind of how I do things.
right.
Other people do it this way. That didn't work for me. So this is how I do it, kind of thing. And you're gonna figure that out, what works for you.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Tamar, I have thoroughly enjoyed our time together. I'm so excited. I love your products. I've been on your website. And so I definitely encourage everybody who's listening to get on that site and just check out everything that she has going on. Reach out to her.
Yeah.
And so for that, Tamar, will you tell them again your website and how they can follow you?
So my website is called KarenaBells.com, and that's spelled KRENA, B as in boy, HAILS.com. That will take you straight to my social media, my newsletter sign up. You'll be able to go to my Etsy store, all of that. So although I'm on Pinterest, and I'm, like I said, I'm struggling millennial on TikTok, trying to make my way through it. I'm making my way. I'm learning to edit on a phone and things like that. I'm trying, but if you go to KarenaBells.com, that will then take you to whatever some people are comfortable on Facebook, some people are more comfortable on Instagram. I'm everywhere. So KarenaBells.com, that has my email linked to it. So you can send me an email. And then on my store, because I make everything, if there's something that you want that's not necessarily custom and you're like, you see this design and I don't have it on something like a tumbler, you can inbox me and say, hey, can you put that on a tumbler? Yes, I can. I can add that to my store so that you can get it that way. And everything is through mail. Even my local orders, people, I'll meet you. I know you might live 2 blocks down, but I'm a mail that. I don't. That's the introvert and the COVID social distancing. I don't. So everything through mail, so you don't have to worry about anything. The website sends you notifications once it's shipped. All of that. So.
Awesome. See, there's some good stuff. I love this. I love it. So definitely go on that website. Let's go check out TikTok.
Yeah.
We were talking.
Yes, you should definitely be on there. Let me know if you get on there, and it's one of those things. Once you get on, then you're like, oh, okay. But before it's like that's where the kids go to make those TikTok dances or whatever. But there's an awesome small business community. You follow the way I did it. Follow a couple of small business hashtags that will start connecting you with other small businesses. And the primary thing that a lot of them do is they have tutorials. So if you wanted to write a book, I follow a lot of female Black authors who talk about their process on there. And I'm not interested in writing a book, but I love the process and I love the marketing and I love how they come up with the stories and everything. So anything you could think of, you don't necessarily have to make TikToks, but for informational purposes, TikTok is awesome. A 60-second video, they get straight to the point of whatever the topic is.
Oh, that's cool. And even like she said, even if you're not wanting to write a book or something, but they're talking about marketing, it could help you in whatever your business is. So definitely, I've been thinking about it. So we're gonna add Clubhouse. That's another thing. I'm like, y'all, okay, everybody.
Hold on. So TikTok, you don't have to make a TikTok video. Just start off slow. Just make the account and then start following people that you like, and then at some point You may get motivated enough to try to make one. I personally don't feel comfortable in front of the camera, but I know that it's a part of it. And, you know, talking with you is like so comfortable, and everybody that, you know, I interview with, I always have a good time. So it's never like I'm dreading it. But if my 7-year-old was like Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen, where they were good in front of me, then I would have them sitting
Right.
still talking, because I just like to be in the background. But again, you can't do that with everything. So also people who are afraid to be in front of the camera, just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. Yeah, it's not miserable. It's not horrible. You'll have a good time, and you'll learn some stuff, and you'll get better at it. So
yeah, because this started as just radio. I was like over the phone. I can hear him, roller, Amazon, and then when we decided to go this way, I was like, oh my gosh, really?
Being on camera, like, ugh.
Yeah, but I really do love this format. I love it because I'm able to see my guests and interact and see them laughing, and so it just makes me feel better. And so on that note, we're going to take another quick break, and we'll be right back. One small commercial.
Thank you for being such a wonderful listening audience, whether you were listening live or on the replay. And don't forget to like our Facebook page, Making Connections with Allie and Shay, so that you can get notified every time we go live. Do you have a burning message to share with the audience? Contact Alicia Johnson at info@aliciajohnson.com. That's info@ALYSSIAJOHNSON.com with your topic idea and your message to be booked on the show. And if you're an inspirational speaker or a motivator or simply seeking a platform to share your message, contact Miss Alicia Johnson at info@aliciajohnson.com. That's info@ALYSSIAJOHNSON.com to be considered for 30 to 60 minutes of weekly airtime right here on the Making Connections Network. Again, contact Alicia Johnson at info@aliciajohnson.com. That's info@ALYSSIAJOHNSON.com to be considered for 30 to 60 minutes of weekly airtime, your own radio show right here on the Making Connections Network.
Okay, you guys have heard it. We are available. This is a show, but I also have a network. If you're interested, reach out, give us a call, 980-389-6826. But before we go, this hour goes by so quickly. I do want to remind you all, you probably saw the flyer and you might see it at the end. Mitch Patterson, his family went through a fire recently and lost a lot of things. So they're having a benefit concert for him and his family. And it's called Blessed to be a Blessing. And it is on March 6th at, I think it's 1 to 5 on March 6th. The address is 457 Wellingford Street in Charlotte, North Carolina. 457 Wellington Ford Street in Charlotte. The flyer will also be on the page. I think there will also be a PayPal link if you can't make it to the event. He is a DJ, DJ Blessed, we call him, because he's always in the neighborhood. He's always blessing people. When people are having community events, he comes out and he plays the music and he gets people feeling good. So we definitely want to be a blessing to him as well. So that flyer, the links will be on my page. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram. We're going to talk to Tamar about this TikTok. And you guys know we're here every Saturday at 12 noon and every Monday at 2 p.m. Tamar, do you have any last words before we leave?
No, it has been a pleasure to be on here. And I'm so glad that we finally got to meet and talk. And thank you for having me.
Absolutely. You're welcome anytime. You're not a guest anymore, you're family. You got something going on, you got some new products, breast cancer, different things, and you want to come on, do a promo and show your stuff. Come on on. You're family now. You're welcome.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
Absolutely. So let me jump off here before y'all know Alan be telling me you got an hour. So, but anyway.
Oh, okay.
No. But so until next time, as always, we're leaving you with love, positivity, and good vibes. Have a good day, everybody. Bye, Tamar.
Bye.